we're talking about media planning next. I don't know about you, but everywhere that I've looked over the past few months, I've seen EE, and they're always talking about gaming, and that must be a good thing for gaming, right? And so what I was really excited by was to be able to bring Verity Campion from EssenceMediacomX and Laura Williams from EE down to the conference today. So I am really pleased to welcome you to the stage. Please put your hands together. Thanks.
Hi guys, thank you for coming to listen to us chat about EE in the world of gaming, and I'm really happy that you've seen EE everywhere, shows that at least our media strategy is working. I'm Verity, client partner at EssenceMediacomX, not from Essex, from Croydon, but there we go, otherwise known as EMX. And this is Laura Williams, who's head of brand at EE. We've worked together actually for about 12 years now, so we've seen EE evolve over that time, most recently into the world of gaming. Yep. So we're going to chat you through some of the whys, hows and learnings from the most recent campaign that we ran that's just happened in the summer. So, gaming. A little bit of a change from the world of telco. Can you talk us through EE's ambition to be the UK's #1 destination for gaming and how this fits into the wider brand strategy?
Sure. Well, hi guys. Yeah, I mean, since EE was first established, it's always had that kind of spirit of leadership and that ambition to be #1 from, launching the first 4G in the market all those years ago, which fundamentally changed the way that we use mobile phones, being the first to launch 5G to the UK market. We've always worked really hard to be able to call ourselves the UK's #1 network. But we recognise that we can't continue to just be a telco anymore. It's kind of on the road to just becoming a utility, a necessity, something that people need and don't necessarily really care about. So our strategy is all about relevance, and so we've kicked off a couple of years ago an extensive research project to understand what really matters to people, in their lives at a total level, not just kind of at a telco level, but what really matters to them and what's important to them. Because if we can evolve our products and services to meet those needs, then we have the opportunity to have that greater share in their life. And we know entertainment is really important. That's why from both a BT and an EE perspective, our entertainment offering has expanded over the years in TV, sport, streaming services, music. But now obviously gaming is the #1 thing that an enormous amount of people are choosing to spend their time and money on. So if we can find a way to fulfill those needs for them, as I say, it gives us that chance to have a more meaningful role in their life.
Yeah, exactly. And as you say, the gaming industry is obviously huge, and there's loads of brands that are trying to crack the industry and the market. What makes EE different from being just another gaming retailer?
Well, I guess much like the ambitions we've always had to maintain ourselves as the UK's #1 network, we've got these ambitions to be the UK's #1 gaming destination. And in the kind of the time that we've been moving into the gaming world, we've managed to establish ourselves as the 4th biggest gaming retailer over the last year. But as you say, we don't just want to be a gaming retailer. We, on top of the games and the consoles you can buy from other retailers, we obviously can offer you connectivity as well. So your 5G, your fibre, which is obviously critical to the gaming experience and can literally mean the difference between virtual life and death in that critical moment.
And we've spoken about how relevance is key, and we obviously need to make sure that EE is seen as a credible player within the gaming market. Can you talk us through what we did differently, starting with the launch of the online game store?
Sure. Well, I mean, yes, going back to that sort of overarching ambition, it's a big thing, and it's never going to happen overnight. And it's certainly, whilst we have gone big in the summer, it's not the first steps we've taken into gaming. We have had established relationships with the likes of Microsoft and Sony and Meta for a long time, because we've been able to sell to our customers by attaching products to their plan. We've also done previous media partnerships with the likes of IGN, but it was this summer that we've really decided to up the ante and put our stake in the ground with the launch of the EE Games Store. And the difference now is that whereas we've only previously been able to sell to our customers, we can now sell to anybody. So whether you're a Sky Broadband customer or a Vodafone mobile customer, you can come and be an EE gaming customer.
And we've spoken a lot about the future of media, the importance of being relevant. How do we implement that for this campaign?
Yeah, obviously the job this summer was to land to, particularly to a gaming audience, that the EE Game Store has arrived. And we have talked a lot about the future of media and how we need to be evolving our strategies. And given we had a very specific audience that we needed to talk to, this felt like the ideal opportunity to try something new. And we absolutely did take this brief to take an audience-first approach with a gaming audience. And we did a two-phase approach to this campaign, and the first was more of an announcement phase, which I guess is the work that you've been mentioning. And it was, albeit it was an announcement phase, it was still very much to the gaming audience, and they're obviously not on TV, which is normally where we put a good proportion of our spend. But so we use channels like BVOD, online video, all the social platforms, online takeovers, but we did also have a big strand of out of home, just to get that added reach. So we planned that very differently, but we also executed it very differently. So what we did was we created 4 gaming worlds working with Collective and using Unreal Engine. So the backdrops to our campaign were actually built using gaming software. So those worlds felt really, really relevant, and they were really beautiful. So to then put kind of our corporate branding and fonts on top felt a bit clunky. So that was a big shift for us as well, to kind of move away from what is a very strong brand architecture, to make sure that we were feeling really authentic to the gaming world. And we did create new fonts that were much more appropriate to those gaming worlds. And we also moved away from our Kevin as well. We created those worlds, and they fulfilled a good proportion of the plan. But we also created a film, and we worked again with Unreal Engine. So we shot live action, but we then layered it in with Unreal Engine so that it was the live action became gamified. So it was kind of a hybrid between real world and the gaming world. And the actors that we had in the ads were really strong NPC player actors, and obviously that's a massive TikTok trend. So it just meant that the whole piece, the end result, felt like you weren't quite sure if you were watching a game or watching real life, and it was that true blend, and it enabled us to also create really amazing native pieces to go across the social channels and support different messages. So that was phase 1.
Yeah.
The second phase of the campaign was really exciting, and we developed it very much with the kind of the hardcore gaming audience in mind. And we thought, what better way to launch the EE Game Store than to build the EE Game Store in Fortnite? So we worked with Super Awesome, who I think are here today. So we built the EE Game Store in Fortnite, which was so exciting. And we invited players to come and try and raid the EE Game Store for in real life prizes, consoles, etc. And the added layer of engagement on top of that was we worked with 4 Twitch streamers to be the guardians of the store. So players got to come and battle their favourite streamers for a chance to win prizes, and that was broadcast out across their Twitch channels.
And integration of paid and owned is obviously something that's hugely important to EE and lots of other brands, but how did this paid campaign actually extend into your owned channels?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, we also actually extended that piece of the campaign into the real world as well, because we brought it to Westfield, and we had a streamer down at Westfield, and members of the public came and battled the streamer in real life, and it was projected all onto a massive stream on Westfield, which of course we promoted out again across all of our social channels and in store. And as you say, actually, it's kind of outside of this specific campaign, the gaming priority is something that is not just part of our comms, it's part of the way that we're kind of running our business. So our new flagship stores have a dedicated gaming space with professional setup, so anybody can come down and play. We've got loads of great partnerships with the likes of Team Excel, who we're doing lots of great stuff with as well, the likes of the Insomnia event, and we've got the Power Up programme that's recently been announced. And just in the last couple of weeks as well, we've been able to leverage other partnerships we have with the likes of Activision to be able to offer exclusive and free beta access to the new Call of Duty game. So it's
really exciting,
permeating through everything that we're doing.
And then just linking back to one of the points you made earlier about the fact that we didn't use TV for this campaign, and that's something that like is a big change for EE. Like TV is on all of our brand campaigns as a rule, normally. What other innovative approaches did you use when launching this campaign?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've touched on some of them, but the fact that, even though there was actually quite a big announcement phase of the campaign, none of the planning was done at that broad targeting level within every channel. It was very specifically segmented against those different gamer audiences to allow us to land different propositional messages to each and to make sure we were in the right places. Likewise, the fact that we leveraged that relationship with the streamers and Twitch to give us that credible presence on Twitch. We don't have our own channel, and we've only to date used it as kind of an advertising platform. So we didn't want to just show up, as a brand for the first time and not feel like we had a meaningful role there. So the way that we worked with Twitch and those streamers felt like a really great thing to do. And as I've touched on, kind of the way that we made the creative that went into those spaces, nothing about it was our normal production. The companies that we partnered with, who all were already credible in the gaming world and kind of all create amazing things. Obviously, that the production side of things was completely different. And to your point, I mean, for us, not having TV is in itself an innovation. We have never not done TV before, and never not used Kevin before.
Poor Kevin.
I know.
He's been around since the beginning. I suppose the big question that we have all been looking at and we've been asked constantly is, did this new approach work? Did the audience-led, addressable media strategy actually deliver on what we set out to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's actually still really early days. The campaign didn't finish very long ago, so we haven't got all the numbers in, but all the evidence points to the fact that this strategy absolutely works. We obviously branding and some of the things I've talked about in terms of moving away from our fonts, our colours, stuff that's led me in trouble with the brand management team. Actually, it was a genuine concern as to whether we would still get the brand attribution, and within this audience, within the gaming audience, the brand attribution was absolutely there because they'd engaged with the words. So the brand attribution levels were really high, salience, and we actually even managed to shift consideration within this audience by 4%, which is massive. That's really hard to do. And on top of that, we've obviously got the performance metrics that are coming through from the campaign itself. So something like 500 million impressions, 140 million video views, 1.4 million clicks to the site. All of our click-through rates and view-through rates were above benchmark. And in terms of awareness of the EE store as well, within the first day, we had 100 searches for the EE game store. And then by the end of the week, we were getting 1,000 searches a day for the EE game store. So yeah, it's all looking very positive. But I think that shift in consideration amongst that audience is probably the biggest win so far for us.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of excited people in the office yesterday when that came through.
Half the process.
And what did you learn from the overall experience of doing something new, different?
I mean, so much. I was so uncomfortable on a daily basis. Just it's such a different world, and we did try so many things. I think we have touched on most of them, but I think the most important thing for us is that we made that call that we were absolutely not going to show up as a mobile brand. We were going to show up as a gaming brand, and that was going to guide all of our decisions. And that was the biggest learning. If you're going to try and do something new, if you're going to try and talk to a new audience or break into a new category, you've got to unlearn what you normally do, and you can't expect to go out and do what you normally do. You have to take risks and be brave and do it a bit differently.
Great, thank you. I think we've basically got 1 minute left. So thanks guys for listening to us today. Just a quick summary of what we've run through. So the first thing to take away, relevance is obviously key. And this was achieved in this campaign through an audience first approach, focused on gamers across both media and creative. Second thing, partnering with credible gaming partners across the process was really key for EE to build credibility in the gaming space. And then the third thing, really be brave. Think differently and make sure that your teams and yourself is actually embracing the chance to do something different. And as you can see, hopefully, it's starting to pay off as EE move into gaming. Thanks.